दिक्कालाद्यनवच्छिन्न अनन्तचिन्मात्रमूर्तये स्वानुभूत्येकमानाय नमः शान्ताय तेजसे. Okay. We are in this Manasaurya Paddhati. So, Swalpasnayo Vasavase Kamalinam Nirmamsamapi Asthi Goho Shvalabdhva Paritoshameti Nachatat Tasya Kshudha Shantaye Simho Jambukam Ankamagatamapit Tyaktva Nihanti Dvipam Sarvaha Krichiragatopi Vanchati Janaha Satvanurupam Phalam. So, each one wants a result based on the efforts that they put. At the same time, what they know from their perspective, they think this is the best result that they can get in life. They don't even understand the value of something of something existing which is even more valuable than what they have on hand. So this is the difference between a Kshudra Jantu and a Uttama Jantu. He goes in the same manner. The next shloka also gives a difference between how a lowly creature can act versus how a great creature, great animal can act. And you apply it to the context of people also. Nichaha versus Uttamaha. Langula chalanam adhas charanavaghataha charanavaghatam prayaha atra. Yeah. Langula chalanam adhas charanavaghatam bhumau nipatya vadanodara darshanancha shva pindadasya kurute gajapungavastu dhiram vilokayate chatushatais cha bhunte. The difference between how a dog is fed and how an elephant is fed. Shva pindadasya evam kurute. So what does he do? What does a dog do? Pindadasya, one who gives it a pindam, in the sense of food. When the provider of food, when an owner or someone who gives a dog a food, how does the dog behave? It wags its tail. Langula chalanam. This is all swabhavokti here. Swabhavoktir alankaraha. So langula chalanam, it moves, it wags its tail. Adhas charana avaghatam. Charana avaghatam, it stomps its feet down. So adhaha, on the floor. Charana avaghatam karoti, bhutale padena vidaranam. So it stamps its feet on the ground. And then bhumau nipatya, it falls down on the ground. Vadana udara darshanam cha kurute. Shva pindadasya kurute. Pindadam prati or pindadasya kurute ityukte atra it is purastat tasya purataha iti. So in front of the person who gives it food, the dog wags its tail, it stomps its feet on the ground, it falls down on the floor and then shows its stomach and face. That is, it opens its mouth and with the tongues wagging out. Vadana udara darshanam cha kurute. Which is, it is showing its gratitude towards the person who gives food. And Gajapungavastu, whereas on the other hand, Gajapungavaha, the best of so Pungavaha is Puman, Gauhu, Pungavaha, Vrishabhaha. So usually you use that to mean Sreshtaha. Sreshtaha ityarthaha. So Gajapungavaha is the best among the elephants. What does it do? Chatu shataihi dhiram vilokayati chatu shataihi cha bhunkte. It first looks at the person Mahot who comes and gives it food. It first looks at him. Dhiram vilokayati nama gambhirataya pashyati. It just look yarra ivan vandirukkan abdingra madri abdi oru parva, who is this, he is trying to give me food. It acts as if it's like a king and people have to serve the elephant. So dhiram vilokayati, it looks at him with as if it is an honor for the Mahot to come and give him food. Tatha vilokayati. And then chatu shataihi. Chatu nama, trying to placate the animal in many ways. You have to speak to it in different taja pandradhu nartham. So try to convince the elephant to eat, right? So the elephant being very majestic, it looks calmly at the person who gives food and then eats only after many persuasion. Chatu shataihi, hundreds of persuasive words have to be used And then only Gajapungavaha bhunkte, it can eat. Imau eva Neecha aneecha janayoho drishtantau iti. Same, you can apply it to a person who is a neecha. He feels very grateful for the feeding hand. Yes, you should. But at the same time, you also show your character. If you have too much of self-esteem, then it'll seem as if the person who gives is extremely honorable, and in the sense that is he's fortunate to have found an atiti of this sort, and the atiti makes him feel like that. அந்த மாதிரி ஆயிடுறது. It's not like he's with gratitude or anything. So langula chalanam adhascharanaavagatam भूमौ निपत्य वदनोदर दर्शनं च श्वापिण्डदस्य कुरुते गजपुङ्गवस्तु धीरं विलोकयति चाटुशतैश्च भुङ्क्ते. So sometimes it may not be just a description of a person who has that manam or that self-esteem. It is also a kind of a highlighting the difference between two sets of people. How would you recognize certain people? Some people you recognize by the inherent qualities. Some people you recognize by saying that they do not have these qualities. By showing the behavior of a dog and in contrast how the elephant behaves, we realize that this is how this is the difference between a lowly person versus a noble person. Parivartini samsare मृतः कोवान जायते सजातो येन जातेन याति वंशः समुन्नति. Huh? I have a question.
Yeah. So in the previous one, you Swabhukti was an alankara for the dog, right?
Yes. Yes.
And then of course Drishtanta still aprastuta prashamsa.
Aprastuta prashamsa, not drishtanta. So there is a swabhavokti for both the dog and the elephant, because that is how the elephant also eats. So it is a swabhavokti for the entire shlokam. There is also aprastuta prashamsa because of the context here. Neethi shatakam is not where we are trying to describe an elephant and a dog. It is to point out the behavior of a neecha versus uttama person.
There's a kind of a vyatireka that's implied between the two.
You're not comparing the two of them at all for it to be a vyatireka.
Okay.
You need upamanam upameyam and say that the upameya is better than the upamana.
Okay,
there is no such comparison.
No such comparison here. Okay. And so one more time, the Chatushata, I mean, just give me one more example. Like, what is like the behavior of the elephant?
Chatu vakyamna ennan kekrela? Your voice is breaking up.
I was asking, like, one more example of how the elephant displays Chatu behavior.
He doesn't display that behavior. It is the feeder who has to somehow try to placate it. Or குழந்தைக்கு சாப்பாடு ஊட்டுற மாதிரி, the child will not very sweetly open the mouth and say give me. There are only very few children who will do that. But you have to show kaka paru, chandrana paru, nalava paru solli da kudukano. That is kind of a chatu. The same way the elephant also will not immediately eat. He has to you go to temples in India, South India especially, during that feeding time, it's a pleasure to watch that Mahoth and the elephant interact. That's how they do.
When he comes on the street to in front of our house, and if you give like banana, rice, and anything, it won't take it immediately. You have to say take it, and then we have to touch the trunk.
நாலு தடவை இப்படி தொட்டு தடவி அப்புறம் the Mahoth will say okay go on அப்படின்னு அப்படி அந்த he will lift the trunk with one stick. அதெல்லாம் பண்ணுவான். Then only. Oh, this is nice. கும்பகோணம் எலிஃபென்ட் வந்து அப்படி காலெல்லாம் மிதிச்சு விட சொல்றோம். நல்லா இருக்கே. இதுலயும் அப்படிதான். மன்னார்குடியிலயும் there is one elephant, செங்கமலம். Bobcat செங்கமலம்.
Oh, she's adorable. Yeah.
So cute. Yeah. Next one is Parivartini samsare mritah kova na jayate sajato yena jatena yati vamsha samunnatim. Only a person who has that honor, who lives with honor, they can, the existence of such a person is not only good for himself, it also brings up the family honor too. So, parivartini samsare, in this world which is constantly changing, dharma adharma vashat paunaf punyena vivartamane samsare, or jara marana rupa samsara chakre. In this samsaram, or in this world is not just jagat, it involves the cycle of this transmigratory existence that we call, where things are constantly changing. Something that is permanent is a person who has born with who lives an honorable life, is a person who brings samunnati, he brings a great progress to his family also, vamsha also. Only that person can be considered as someone who has been born, because everybody who is born dies. So, kaha va jayate na mritaha bhavati. Anybody who has born, who does not attain death here, everybody is born and dies at some point or the other. Kaha va na mritaha, kaha va na jayate. Appadi eduthikalam. So, kova puman mritaha pretaha na jayate. Punaha saha katham na jayate. Athava को कहा जायते तदनंतरम न मृतः इति वक्तुम शक्यते. So a person who is born has to die, and a person who dies also will be born again, since it is the cycle of birth rebirth. So kaha puman yaha jayate na mritaha bhavati, athava kaha mritaha na punaha jayate. So this samsaram is something where that janma and punarjanma keep coming again and again. He gives the Bhagavad Gita vachanam, jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu dhruvam janma mritasya cha. Jatasya, one who is born, for him death is a certainty. Dhruvo mrityuhu dhruvam janma mritasya cha. Even when he dies, he again is born as because of his vasana balam, and if his bank balance of punyam and papam is not at zero, then he has to take a birth again. So parivartini samsare mritaha kova na jayate yena jatena vamshaha samunnatim yati saha eva jataha. So who is to be considered as a person who is என்ன சொல்றது, truly born, right? Saha eva jataha iti manyate yena jatena, by whose birth vamshaha samunnatim yati, the entire lineage attains a great eminence or great position because of his vamsha uddharakaha yaha bhavati saeva janma labhavan ityartha. So ataha kim anyaihi. Here you can take it as Vyatireka Alankara by saying that the birth of others is nothing. So you are distinguishing and saying that in this world everybody is the same. But at the same time, one who brings a glory to his family is better than the others. So then it becomes a Vyatireka Alankara. Parivartini samsare mritah kova na jayate sajato yena jatena yati vamshas samunnati. சான்றோனென கேட்ட தாய் இல்ல, ஈன்ற பொழுதின் சான்றோனென கேட்ட தாய். குசுமஸ் தபகஸ்யேவ த்வயி விருத்திர் மனஸ்வினஹ. Have a question? தமிழா? சங்கரி சொல்லுங்க பாப்போம்.
ஈன்ற பொழுதில் பெரிதுவக்கும் தன் மகனை சான்றோன் என கேட்ட தாய். The mother feels much more happy when she hears that her son is a is a good man, more than what she felt when he was born or when she gave birth to him.
அது ஒரு 2-3 குறள் அந்த மாதிரி வரும் அந்த இடத்துல. தந்தைக்கும் ஏதோ ஒண்ணு வரும்,
தந்தை அவையடக்கம்
ஏதோ மாதிரி ஒண்ணு வரும். அடுத்தது இதுதான், this is more popular.
even
avantan
Saivan
ivantan.
Kol enno.
Ennotran kol enum sol. Like what tapas did he do to like get this from?
அதுதான்.
From Tirukural way.
திருக்குறள் தான். And it's a good study to compare these two. कुसुमस् तबकस्येव द्वयी वृत्तिर् मनस्विनः मूर्ध्नि वा सर्वलोकस्य शीर्यते वन एव वा. ஷீரியத்தே வனேதவா அப்படின்னு நாங்கள் பார்த்துருக்கோம். வனே இல்லை, விஷீரியத்தே வனே அதவா. தட் வாஸ் மை ரீடிங் when I was in school. So kusumas tabakasya iva manasvinaha dvayi vrittihi. There are two options for a great person, just like a bunch of flowers. So there are only two kinds of existence. Vrittihi nama existence or life. What are the two? Either he stands on top of everybody, sarva lokasya murdhni bhavati, athava vane eva shiryate, else he goes unnoticed and he completely withers away in the forest, just like a bunch of flowers. Kusumasya stabakam nama guchcham. So like a bunch of flowers, either it is made into a garland and it adorns the head of everybody, or it completely gets destroyed in the forest.
Nibandha stabakam.
அதுவும் அதே தான். ஸ்தபகனா குச்சம், collection. Here it is upamalankaraha, or inge ivena saha samasyate purnopama. Okay, kusumastabakasya iva iti purnopama. Santi anyepi बृहस्पति प्रभृतयः संभाविताः पंचशाः तान् प्रत्येष विशेष.
Previous one, what is the tatparya? I didn't understand that all.
This one?
Kusumastabakasya.
Okay. Tatparyam manasvinaha. Manasvi, an honorable person. See, he is like a self-esteem. You know, he is a person who high-minded person. They don't want to be in any other position. Either they have to be in a position of honor, or they will completely be away from the crowd and not even mix with them and completely go away in oblivion. That's all. So they don't.
Unsung heroes.
Unsung heroes. Either they are decorated heroes or unsung heroes. That's all.
No via media.
There's nothing in between for them. That's what it means. You're still not convinced.
No, I'm okay. Better, I understand it better.
Yeah,
now
think
after
about
you explained.
it. Yeah.
Because
So
it's Manasaurya Paddhati, right? That's
correct.
Why,
So that's what he says here. See, ubhayi vrittihi shauryat unnatasthana sthitihi. Tad alabhe, if they are unable to get such a big position, manat, out of honor, they would rather aranye jirnata iti vivekah. This is the only thing that they follow. Iyameva shreyaskari vrittihi pumsam iti. Santi अन्येपि बृहस्पति प्रभृतयः संभाविताः पंचशाः तान् प्रत्येष विशेष विक्रम रुचि राहुर्न वैरायते द्वावेव ग्रसते दिवाकर निशा प्राणेश्वरौ भास्वरौ भ्रातः पर्वणि पश्य दानवपतिः शीर्षावशेषा कृतिः. This is similar to the same shloka that we saw in the first shloka, which is kshukshamopi jarakrisho api. A lion, no matter in what condition it is, it will go and attack only an elephant. So similarly here also, he says, Rahu, there are so many planets here, yet it attacks only the most luminant of the two grahas, and it goes only attacks Surya and Chandra, nothing else, even though it has only half a body. Shirsha avashesha akritihi danavapatihi, the asurapati, asura raja, danava raja, he was also one of the asuras who, during the Mohini avataram, Vishnu, he took on the deva, disguise of a deva, and stood among the gods at the end, and as the Amritam went inside, somebody noticed that it is an Asura, it is not a Deva, and Vishnu cut off the head. So Shirsha Avashesha Akritihi Rahu. Ketu is the body portion. So he has only the head. So with just the head, he goes after two of them and completely swallows these two. So Anye api Brihaspati Prabhritayaha other than Surya. So when you say Anya, it always means that there is something who are the prasanga, who are the context here, which is the sun and the moon are the context. There are other Panchashaha Sambhavitaha Brihaspati Prabhritayaha, Brihaspati, Buddha, Shukra, etc. There are other grahas also, 5 or 6 grahas, Panchashaha, Panchava, Shatva. Grahaha vartante sambhavitaha nama you can they have also been given this position of honor as graha, and they are one among the navagraha. There are 5 or 6 people other than these two, Surya and Chandra, right? So tan prati, towards them, eshaha rahuhu vishesha vikrama ruchihi rahuhu atra dhralope purvasya dirghanaha. So that's why there is a dirgha here. So Vishesha Vikrama Ruchihi Rahuhu Tan Prati Naiva Bhaswarau Naiva Vairayate. Tan Prati Eshaha Rahuhu. This Rahu who has an affection or Ruchi, he loves to, is very keen on only showing off his valor. Vishesha Vikrama. That is, he wants to show off his valor towards people who are particular, who are very good. So Vishesheshu, Vishishteshu, Tari Tejo Mahatsu Eva Vikrame Tasya Ruchihi Vartate. Rahoho. So Rahu has a keenness towards showing his valor only towards people who are extremely good. So he doesn't want to.
Vairiva acharate illiya.
Adeda, ama. Vairayate.
Like an enemy.
Ama.
Okay.
Vairayate vairam na karoti. Acharati vanda. In the இடத்துல karoti, it's enough. So acharati ingarche iva acharati should always have another object. The putra iva acharati, putriyati. Idu vandu vairammangiradhu bhavavachakam. So vairam karoti, vairayate. So he has a keen interest to show his valor towards great people, but that Rahu, Tan prati na vairayate, he does not show his enmity towards those people like Brihaspati, etc. There are about 5 or 6 people in this category. Dvaveva grasate. He has his enmity towards only 2 people who are Bhaswarau, Atitejo Yuktam. So they are luminant, and those two are Surya Chandramasau. So Divakara Nisha Praneshwarau. Divakaraha. Divakurute iti Divakaraha, one who makes the day, which is the sun. Nisha Praneshwaraha. Nisha Patihi or Nisha Praneshwaraha, one who is the lover of the night, which is the moon. So Divakara Nisha Praneshwarau, Surya Chandramasau, Bhaswarau, Dvaveva Grasate. He swallows only these 2 luminant objects or eclipses, only those 2, which is the sun and the moon. That is, it is the lord of the both day and night. He Bhrataha. Idu vandu chumma as an address to the audience who is listening. So He Bhrataha Pashya Parvani, at every point, this Danavapatihi, Shirsha Avashesha Akritihi Sanna, this Asurapati, who has only his Shirsha Avashesham, the only remaining part in his form, Akriti, is Shirsha, only his head is remaining in his form, yet he wants to swallow or eclipse only these 2, which is the sun and the moon. Yeah. Pashya, look at the behavior of this Rahu. Santi. இதுவும் அதேதான். ஆமா, அப்ரஸ்துத பிரசம்சா. இங்க பார்க்கலாம். ஏவம் மானசௌர்யசாலினஹ ஹி nija anga vaikalyam na pariganayanti. They do not think about the incapacity or the challenges that they have in life. Yet any action that they want to do is always aim at the star and then aim at the star, shoot at the sky ingrome andha mari. Kintu mahat karyameva kartum vyavasyanti. They only want to do a great work in life. So pura kila devanam amrita pradana samaye vishnu chakrena छिन्न शीर्षत्वात् शिरोमात्र अवशिष्टगात्रः अभूत् सैंहिकेयः. सिंहिका नाम असुरस्त्री इदल असुरमाता नागमाता irukka illaya. She is there, she comes during the first samudra langhanam of Hanuman in the first chapter of Sundarakandam. So simhika putraha eva rahuhu saimhikeyah iti pauraniki katha atra anusendheya. So take it as aprastuta prashamsa. Adha modali avar sollitare. Most of the shlokas in this Manasaurya paddhati has aprastuta prashamsa.
Simhika garbha sambhutam tam rahum pranamamyaham. இந்த ஸ்லோகம் இருக்கு.
இதுல இல்ல, நான் தியான ஸ்லோகம்
நவகிரக ஸ்லோகத்துல
நவகிரக தியானத்துல வரும். சந்தி அந்யேபி ப்ரஹஸ்பதி பிரபృతயः சம்பாவிதாः பஞ்சஷாः தான் பிரத்யேஷ விசேஷ விக்ரம ருச்சி ராहुர் ந வைராயதே द्वावेव ग्रसते दिवाकर निशा प्राणेश्वरो भास्वरो भ्रातः पर्वणि. पर्वणि नाम at every पूर्णिमा or during पूर्णिमा मोदु you have chandragrahanam and during amavasya you have surya grahanam. So the parvas are those two. वहति भुवन श्रेणिं शेषः फणा फलकस्थितां कमठपतिना मध्ये पृष्ठं सदा स च धार्यते तमपि कुरुते क्रोडाधीनं पयोधिः अनादरात् अहः महतां निस्सीमानः चरित्रविभूतयः. महतां चरित्रविभूतयः निस्सीमानः. The work of great people, that is charitra vibhutayah. The actions of the great are nissimanaha. It is limitless. Such a vibhuti is shelvam nu eduthikalam. Avaluடைய அந்த actions, charitram is whatever the actions they have conducted in their lives is nissimanaha. It seems to be limitless for these great people. So terasham mahatmyam atra varniyate. Vahati bhuvana shrenim sheshaha phana phalakasthitam bhuvana shrenim vahati. So sheshaha anantaha, shesha nagaha, he bears the entire row of lokas. Shesha is supposed to be underneath the patalam, carrying all 14 lokas on his heads. So phana phalaka, tasya phanaha eva palakani. Tatra sthitam bhuvana shrenim, the row of worlds that are placed on the plank of his hoods, he bears it. Vahati. So the hoods are like a plank where it is like a balancing act that he is doing of all the 14 worlds. Okay. So bhuvana shrenim sheshaha phanaphalaka sthitam bhuvana shrenim sheshaha vahati. Now who is kamatha patina madhye prishtam sada sacha dharyate, and this sheshanaga kamatha nama number ivar kurmavatara. So kurmavatara, Bhagavan takes a kurmavatara and adi kurmavatare tu sheshopi tasya upari eva sthitaha iti vartate. I don't know what is the Purana reference here, but sahacha sheshaha kamathapatina dharyate iti. So sahacha, that shesha in turn madhye prishtam is being dharyate. He is being borne by Kamathapati, that is the great tortoise Adi Kurmaha, on his back. Madhye prishtam, on the middle portion of his back, and the shell irukra edathila he bears it. இது வந்து ஆதிகூர்மஹா இது காரணாத் தத்ர உக்தம். ஐ டோன்ட் நோ வேர் ரெஃபரன்ஸ் என்னன்னு தெரியல எனக்கு, பட் தட்ஸ் ஓகே. வில் சி திஸ். நெக்ஸ்ட் வந்து தம் அப்பி குருதே क्रोड अधीனம் பயோதிஹி அநாதராத். தம் அப்பி தம் கமடபதிம் அப்பி अथवा शेषम अपि again, Shesha along with all the worlds are being brought with just, with his tusk. Bhagavan takes the Varaha Murti, Varaha Avataram, and then Payodihingar. சரி, ஆதார சமுத்திரம் இருக்கு, பிரளய அர்ணவம், the pralaya samudra is there, and underneath that you have the adi kurma. When the entire world just submerges in during pralaya kalam, during complete dissolution, at that point of time Bhagavan takes the avataram of Yajnavaraha Murti and he brings out the entire world from the ocean, which is the adhara jalam that is there, in which all of the 14 worlds are supposed to be floating. Okay? So tam api atra kamathapatim api, even the great tortoise is being Kroda adhinam kurute varaha avataraha payodhihi idenna seriya varliye oru nimsham. So Kroda here refers to the lap. So payodhihi tam api kroda adhinam kurute anadarat. Without even thinking about it, this Kamathapati, that is the great tortoise Adi Kurma Avatara, exists inside the samudram, and the samudram is bearing this tortoise upon which Shesha is there, upon which all of the 17 worlds are being held. This is just a way of conceiving all of those. Say Adi Kurma Avatara at one point is Bhagavan Vishnu, who carried the entire world. That is, who carried Sheshanaga along with the entire world. Because if you look at it, Shesha is an Amshavatara, whereas Kurma Avataram is not an Amshavatara, it is Bhagavat Avataram eva. Whereas Sheshavatara is one of the Vyuha Avataras. So it is an Amsha of Bhagavan. If you take Kurma Avataram, it is one of the Purna Avataras. That is why it is also considered as one of the 10 Avataras. Okay, so which means he has the entire world within him, including his Amsha of Shesha also. So that is the only way you can think about the explanation here. Now all of this is being, now when he took the avataram of Kurma, where did he go and be? So in the tortoise, as a tortoise, he went into the ocean and tried to lift up the Mandara mountain. And so in other words, the samudram is capable of carrying even that Adi Kurma Avatara. So Payodhihi, the ocean, Anadarat, very, in an indifferent manner, he gives Kroda Adhinam Karoti, he gives him a place to reside in his lap. Tam api kamatapatim evam kroda adhinam kurute. He also makes him rest on his lap very easily. Anadarat. So ahaha mahatam charitra vibhutayaha nisimanaha. Seems like great people, the greatness of great people is limitless. They have so much to do and so much to offer to the world. No? Payodhihi pralaya arnavaha anadarat anayasat kroda adhinam kurute. Adivaraha ayattam kurute. Krodapati. Adhu right da. So Kroda has two meanings here. Adivaraha avatarena patalagatam bhumandalam Vishnuna nija damshtraya samudritam. Oh, I was right. Okay. Fine. That is another meaning there. And in the Pralaya Jalam, Tukulladana Yajnavaraha Murti went in and brought it. So, okay.
So Modi, so the tortoise is being supported by what? What is the Kroda? How is Varaha coming to?
Kroda Patihi nale, Kroda is Varaha, boar.
Okay.
Koshatla. Kroda also means lap in Kosham.
But how does Varaha support the tortoise?
How does Varaha support?
The Kamata.
அது வந்து என்னன்னா அதான் as a point of how Pralaya Jale Varaha goes underneath and brings the entire world outside. It was sinking in. The world which was born by the Kamatha is now completely submerged into the ocean, and Bhagavan goes as Varahamurti and brings the world outside. In other words, it also he bears the Kamathapati also. அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி எடுத்துக்கணும்.
பிரளய பயோதி ஜலே கேசவா.
அது மத்ஸ்யாவதாரம் வரும். பட்
is it is it like if we wonder Shesha as a great person, then Kurma is much greater than him?
Greater than that.
Yeah, like that.
That's how you're looking at it. So when you say Kurma Avatara, there is no Puranic reference to Kurma Avatara carrying Shesha Avatara. That is also not there. So if you look at that, then each one has done something to show their own Mahatmyam in that manner. That's all.
I mean, the hierarchy was evident when we said that the tortoise was carrying Shesha. That is fine. But then all the worlds which are on Shesha are ultimately being supported by the Kurma. But then Varaha, when Bhumi goes into the Payodi and Varaha brings it back, that is just Bhumi, one of those 14 worlds. Yeah.
So one of the 14 worlds na namba solrom appadi illa. If you look at some Puranic references, the first avatara is Yajnavaraha Murti. It is not Matsya Avatara. So all of the worlds sink down, and Swayambhuva Manu wonders as to where he will do Praja Utpatti if there is no land at all. That is when Varahamurti goes down and brings up the entire world outside.
The entire world containing that Kurma as well.
As well, அப்படின்னு எடுத்துக்கிறோம்.
Or if you can think like this, see, Kurma was able to bear the worlds until the Pralayam time it happened, and then it failed, and then everything sunk. Even the job which was not being done by the Kurma, now Varaha can do it.
Correct.
And bring it. So it doesn't have to carry the Kurma. It is doing a greater job.
Thank you, Mahoti.
அப்பா போங்க. சரி.
But the thing is, it also talks about ocean's greatness, Ilya?
Yes.
On the face of it is the ocean's greatness.
Yes.
Okay.
Ama. So ataha mahatam manashauryaशालिनां महानुभावानां चरित्र विभूतयः निस्सीमानः निर्मर्यादाः. This is a mala deepakakhya alankaraha. Purvapurvasya uttaraguna utkarsha avahat mala deepakam. This mala deepakam has no connection to our regular deepaka alankara. There is no connection at all. You are not doing adenna and the prakritam aprakrita uddeepanam iti deepaka alankaraha. That is completely different from mala deepaka alankara, which is पूर्वपूर्वस्य उत्तर गुण उत्कर्षः दृश्यते इति. So the latter has a greater quality than the earlier. If such a description is there, then it is called mala deepakam. The light is being the light is being shown for one after the other. Adha. Next is varam pranochchedaha samada maghavan मुक्त कुलिश प्रहारैरुद्गच्छद् बहुल दहनोद्गार गुरुभिः तुषाराद्रेः सूनोः आहः पितरि क्लेश विवशे न चासौ सम्पातः पयसि पयसां पत्युरुचितः. Now the opposite, someone who does not have that Manasauryam, how would he behave? He gives an example of Mainaka Parvata. When Indra was trying to cut off all the wings of all the mountains used to have wings before, and Indra was sent to cut off all the wings because they were creating havoc. They used to just fly and randomly fall on cities or people or destroy things. So when Indra was sent to cut off the wings, there were some mountains which escaped, and one of that is Mainaka Parvata. This Mainaka mountain, who is the son of Himot Parvata, he flew, and Samudra, the ocean, gave him refuge, and he hid underneath the ocean. So he came up to return favor because Vayu helped Mainaka to go underneath the Samudram. Samudra happened because of Ikshvaku Vamsha Raja Sagaraha, and both of them wanted to return the favor to both Rama and Hanuman. Hanuman being Vayu's son and Rama being an Ikshvaku descent. So Mainaka Parvata comes out of the ocean and he offers help. So now that Mainaka Parvata, we think so highly about him during Sundarakandam. Inge vandu apdi totally irakkiduvar. And say, see, it is better to have given up his life instead of going and hiding somewhere inside the ocean. What did he do when his father was suffering? Himavan went through the humiliation of getting cut, right? His wings were also cut. At that point of time, he should have stood there and he should have, it would have been better if he had lost his life. So, sa mada maghavan tusharadrehe sunoho pitari klesha vivashe sati asya payasam patyuhu payasi sampataha na uchitaha. It is not appropriate for him to go and fall into the payasam patyuhu payasi, into the waters of the Lord of Water, which is ocean. So it's not right on his part, uchitaha. It is not appropriate for Mainaka Parvata to have gone and fallen into the waters of the ocean when his father was klesha vivashe. Vivasham nama powerless. He was completely not under his control because he was suffering with his wings being cut. So tushara adrehe, tusharam nama snow, Himalaya, hima adri mountain, Himalaya. So himavat parvatasya sunoho sampataha, kutra sampataha, payasam patyuhu payasi sampataha, samudre tatra gatva nilina, to go and hide himself inside the samudram na uchitaha. It would have been better, varam prana uchchedaha. It is better to give up his life, prana uchchedaha nama giving up one's life. It would have been better for him to give up his life when sa mada maghavan mukta kulisha praharaihi udgachat bahula dahana udgara gurubihi kulisha praharaihi prana uchchedaha varam. It is better to have gotten his life cut off, prana uchchedaha, by the praharam, by the kulisha prahara, by the attack of the terrible strokes of kulisha, of the vajrayudha that have been mukta, released by Maghavan. Maghava nama Indraha. Samada Maghavan. Indra was extremely arrogant and he threw mukta, he threw his kulisha, his vajrayudham, and he started hitting each one of the mountains, and the vajrayudham was emitting fire from it. So udgachat bahula dahana udgara gurubihi praharaihi. The attacks of vajrayudha, which were spitting udvamat udgara, which were actually spitting great flames, that was coming out of the vajrayudha. Weapon la vandu, when you start swishing it, there is a spark that comes out of the weapon, metal weapons, right? So that's what he's trying to say. Udgachat veli varugindra bahula dahana agni agnehe udgara gurubihi. The amount of udgaram, or the spitting fire that came out, was extreme. And tadrisha kulisha praharaihi prana uchchedaha varam. It would have been better, maranam eva varam atra.
உயிர் நீப்பின் வாழா கவரிமான் அன்னார் உயிர் நீப்பர் மானம் வரின்.
அதான் கவரிமான் போல உயிர் நீப்பது பெட்டர். பிராண பரித்யாகேனாபி மானசௌர்யே ஏவ பிரஸ்தாபனீயே, மானம் ச சௌர்யம் ச பிரஸ்தாபனீயே, அன்யதா மகான் அபவாதः ஸ்யாத். Otherwise they would get into a big it's a humiliation for them. Udgarangarது, the literal meaning of it is இது ஏப்பம் விடுறதுங்கிறோம். ஆனா you are not supposed to use those words in its meaning in kavyam. Instead here you use it in the sense of letting out fire. adnala it's okay. Gaunartha. Varam pranocheda samada maghavan mukta kulisha praharairuddgachat bahula தஹன உத்கார குருபிஹி துஷாராத்ரேஹே சூனோஹோ அஹஹ. இந்த அஹஹல அடடா இப்படி பண்ணிட்டானே அப்படின்னு தட்ஸ் ஆல் இட் இஸ். திதரி கிளேஷ விவசே நச்ச அசௌ சம்பாதः பயசி பயசாம் பத்யு ருச்சிதः.
Is there anything we can put for this, Maudya?
அலங்காரமா அப்ரஸ்துத பிரசம்சா தான், வேற எதுவும் இல்லை.
In the Sundarakandam, it is said that Mainaka was doing the important job of closing the door to Patala.
சரி சரி சொல்லிக்கிட்டோம். But our Neethi shatakam Bhartrhari has a different take. यद अचेतनोऽपि पादैः स्पृष्टः प्रज्वलति सवितुर ईनकान्तः तत्तेजस्वी पुरुषः परकृत निकृतिं कथं सहते. How they cannot tolerate a humiliation from another person. Achetanaha api, even an achetana vastu, which is not sentient, an insentient being, like inakantaha nama suryakanta mani. So there are two jewels which are stones, gemstones. One is called Suryakanta, the other is Chandrakanta. On contact with the moon's rays, the Chandrakanta stone emits water. It becomes really cool because of the rays of the moon. If you look at a Suryakanta stone, when the sun's rays touches it, it will start emitting fire. So it becomes really hot to touch and it also emits fire. Okay. Whether there are real gemstones like this or not, we don't know, but definitely in Kavi Samayam, these are the things that have been accepted. If you have studied Champuramayana, if you have finished your study of Champuramayana, you will know.
Yeah.
Ravana goes for Mrigaya and he comes and stands there. He just looks at the moon. Immediately the moon has to shine his rays on the moonstone, the Chandrakanta, and from there water will start pouring for him. It's like a shower.
Shower, like luxurious shower.
Cool water. Yad achetanopi padaihi. So achetanaha inakantaha सवितुः पादैः स्पृष्टः प्रज्वलति इति यत् वर्तते तत् तेजस्वी पुरुषः परकृत निकृतिं कथं सहते. So यत् यस्मात् कारणात्, the fact that an achetana vastu, an insentient being like inakanta, the suryakanta stone, prajwalati, it just shines or emits fire when being touched, sprishtaha, by the feet of sun. So pada here has two meanings. One is literally foot. The other meaning also in kosha you find the meaning of rays, kirana. So suryasya kiranaihi rashmibihi sprishtaha sun saha inakantaha prajwalati. It emits fire. So the other meaning here is when someone kicks you with your foot, you become very angry. So anger is prajwalanam nama kopaha. So jwalati nama, someone shines bright with anger here. So the moment someone touches you with your feet, you feel insulted and you show your anger. This is a very typical behavior of a sentient person. So in this example, it is an insentient vastu, like a stone. Even a stone can react in this manner. Then what to say of a tejasvi purushaha? Even normal people, when they suddenly touch with a leg, you get angry. The குழந்தைலாம் விளையாடுற மாதிரி. Normally when two children are sitting down at a table during dinner, one's leg will accidentally touch the other person. That's it. That will be the start of a fight. Personal experience life. If you have 2-3 children in the house, then that's what will happen. Idella on the simple things. So immediately even normal people will feel insulted by the touch of a feet. Then what to say of a tejasvi purushaha? So Manasaurya yuktaha purushaha yadi vartate, if it is a great person of valor, powerful man, tejasvi katham sahate, how can he tolerate Parakrita Nikriti. Nikritihi nama apakaraha. So Parakrita Paraihi Shatrubhihi Kritam Apakaram Saha Katham na sahate. Na kadachitapi na sahate. So he connects this with the Mainaka Parvata and says Mainakastu na evam iti. Mainaka did not behave in this manner. Whether the poet wanted to connect it or not, the Vyakhyata wants to connect it with that. See, it's a great insult. Someone tried to hit your father and you didn't do anything about it. Abdina, the commentator is connecting with it. Yadachetanopi padaihi sprishtav prajwalati savitu rinakantaha aryavrittam. Tat tejasvi purushaha parakrita nikritim katham sahate. Simha shishurapi nipatati Mada Malina Kapola Bhittishu Gajeshu Prakritiriyam Sattvatam na khalu Vayas Tejasam Hetuhu Vayaha Tejasam Hetuhu na bhavati. He started off with an old lion. Now he ends with a young lion. Even if it is a very young lion, Simha Shishuhu api Mada Malina Kapola Bhittishu Gajeshu Nipatati. It goes and falls. Nipatati or attacks. It goes and attacks elephants. Gajeshu Nipatati. It literally, falls on the elephants which have Kapola Bhitti, whose cheeks, the wall-like cheeks. Kapola Bhittishu Mada Malinam. The cheeks are stained with the Madajala, rat. A lion, even though it is very young, Shishuhu, still it attacks elephants whose cheeks are like walls, and it is stained with the rut. That is young elephants in their youth. So this shows that Balye api Vikrantata vartate. So there is the bravery is seen even at a very young age. Prakritihi iyam sattvavatam. This is a natural behavior for people who have sattvam, strong people. So this is the nature of the brave people. Vayaha tejasam hetuhu na bhavati. Age is not the cause for valor. You can show that valor even when when at a very young age. Tejasam hi na vayas samikshiyate. Idila patomo. Nibandhas Tabakatla, I think we did one essay. Either this or Nibandha Mala. Simha Shishurapi Nipatati Mada Malina Kapola Bhittishu Gajeshu Prakritihi iyam Sattvavatam na khalu Vayas Tejasam Hetuhu. So here you have Aprastuta Prashamsa. Ana Idu innora alankaram irukku. Sorry, not Arthantranyasam. Okay. It is Arthantranyasa Alankara. There is another Alankara of Samanya Vishesha and then again Vishesha Samartha. Or no. There should be a Vishesha being justified by a Samanyam. And then that Samanyam also should be justified by another Vishesha. Adada Apalalita Alankara. No, this is not that Alankara. Okay, this is just a Visheshasya Samanyena Samarthanam. So Vishesha here is the particular episode of a young lion falling on youthful elephants. The Samanyam this is the general behavior of people who are brave. So age is not of consideration at all. Okay. So with this the Manasaurya Paddhati is done. The next one is Artha Paddhati. Here also I think many slokas we have seen before. So okay. We'll do this next class, Monday.